During World War II's dark and tragic years, the Nazi regime descended to unimaginable depths of brutality. Among their innumerable horrors, one deadly component remains hidden in the shadows: forced prostitution at SS brothels. We dive into the lives of the women captives who experienced unspeakable traumas as we uncover the disturbing realities of these brothels. But did you know what led to the establishment of these brothels? What would happen to the ladies who were locked behind their walls? What compelled the Nazis to develop a network of brothels within concentration camps? How did these brothels affect the lives of the female inmates who were slaves of this heinous system? Prepare to meet the terrifying facts and reveal the horrific truth behind forced prostitution in SS brothels, where humanity vanished in history's darkest depths. The establishment of brothels within concentration camps during World War II serves as a disturbing testament to the extreme moral depravity of the Nazi regime. These brothels, intended to serve as twisted incentives for collaboration, were primarily utilized by capos, prisoner functionaries, and the criminal element within the camps. The regular inmates, already weakened by malnutrition and the horrors of their imprisonment, were often too debilitated and distrusting to partake in the schemes orchestrated by the Schutzstaffel. The first camp brothel emerged in Mauthausen, Gusen in 1942, marking the initiation of a macabre network that expanded to other camps. Auschwitz established its brothel on June 30, 1943, followed by Buchenwald on July 15, 1943. Subsequently, brothels were established in Neuengamme, Dachau, Dora Mittelbau, and Sachsenhausen, ensnaring numerous women prisoners in a harrowing cycle of exploitation and despair. The exact date of the Flossenburg brothel remains a topic of debate, with sources suggesting either the summer of 1943 or March 25, 1944 as its inception. These camp brothels were constructed as barracks, surrounded by menacing barbed wire. Inside, small individual rooms accommodate up to 20 female prisoners, transforming into haunting spaces where their lives were cruelly exchanged for fleeting moments of respite. Overseeing these rooms were female overseers, Aufsherren, who wielded authority over women subjected to this unimaginable horror. The women trapped within the brothels endured a bleak existence characterized by perpetual exhaustion, illness, and eventual death. They were compelled to cater exclusively to Aryan patrons, and the brothels operated only in the evenings. Those fortunate enough to access the customer lineup had to register for specific days and pay 2 Reichsmarks for a brief 20-minute encounter, meticulously scheduled to the last minute. The matching of women with clients was orchestrated by SS men who oversaw this dehumanizing marketplace. Unfortunately, the system was often dominated by common criminals, identifiable by their green triangles, infamously referred to as the green men, who monopolized the trade of prize coupons. Some women in these brothels may have had the inscription Feldhure, field whore, tattooed on their chests, further degrading and humiliating them according to controversial evidence. Many of these women were subjected to forced sterilizations and abortions, which frequently resulted in their untimely deaths, adding to their already unbearable suffering. While alluded to in survivors' memoirs as early as 1972, the topic of forced prostitution within the concentration camps remained largely taboo in studies of Nazism until the mid-1990s. It was during this period that the voices of female researchers broke the silence and shed light on this dark chapter of history. The SS sometimes enticed women to work in the brothels by promising improved treatment or reduced sentences. This created anger and envy among other female inmates, often resulting in acts of brutal violence. In a horrifying account, Nina Mikhailovna, a Russian camp prisoner, described the savage retribution inflicted upon a chosen girl who was brutally beaten, her survival uncertain. The desire for a better life was met with cruelty, as the women's hopes were shattered under the sadistic whims of their captors. An exhibition held in Ravensbrück Women's Concentration Camp, located north of Berlin, seeks to expose the dark reality of brothels that operated within World War II concentration camps. These brothels were a sinister attempt by the Nazis to manipulate prisoners' sexuality and exert control over their lives. For years, the existence of the concentration camp special blocks, where female inmates were forced to entertain their male counterparts, was buried in silence. The creation of camp brothels was ordered by the Nazi commander Heinrich Himmler in 1941. His chilling logic dictated that male prisoners would work harder if they were offered the incentive of sex. The exhibition held in Ravensbrück, a place where tens of thousands of women were murdered or succumbed to hunger and disease, aims to give voice to the victims and shed light on this grim chapter of history. Inze Eckebach, the head of the Ravensbrück Memorial Site, acknowledges the voyeuristic nature of the subject matter. Consequently, the exhibition relies primarily on the written word to convey the horrors that transpired within the camp brothels. One man who has tirelessly worked to break the enduring silence surrounding this topic is Albert van Dijk, a former prisoner of Buchenwald and a Dutchman from the town of Kampen near the German border. Despite his efforts, he has faced resistance from fellow former inmates who have refused to discuss or acknowledge the existence of the special block. 83-year-old Van Dijk vividly recalls his own experience within the brothel. At the age of 18, amid the despair and degradation of the camp, he fell for a blonde prostitute named Frida and lost his virginity to her in the special block. His memories serve as a reminder of the complex and deep human experiences that unfolded within the confines of such atrocities. Starting from 1942, between 200 and 300 non-Jewish prisoners from the camp were coerced into working in 10 camp brothels scattered across Germany, Austria, and Poland. Most of these women had been imprisoned on charges of being antisocial. Initially, some women volunteered for service as prostitutes, misled by false promises of release after 6 months. However, as time went on, women were forcibly recruited during roll call or even taken from the camp sickbay. Despite marginally better rations and the ability to wear civilian clothes, the work reduced most women to physical wrecks. Many suffered from sexually transmitted diseases, endured medical experiments, and were subjected to forced abortions. The exhibition in Ravensbrück serves as a solemn reminder of the profound degradation and suffering inflicted upon countless innocent lives within the camp brothels. The truth surrounding the forced prostitution in SS brothels serves as a chilling testament to the depths of degradation and exploitation that the Nazis stooped to during World War II. These brothels, born out of a twisted desire for control and collaboration, stand as haunting reminders of the atrocities inflicted on countless innocent lives. Our solemn duty is to remember and honor the victims, offering them the dignity and recognition they were so brutally denied. It is a testament to the strength and resilience of those who endured unimaginable horrors and a call to remember and honor their memory with the dignity and recognition they were so brutally denied. Following grueling days of labor within the camps, women prisoners were compelled to spend 2 hours each night entertaining male prisoners who held privileged positions within the hierarchy. These men, who paid 2 Reichsmark for their encounters, enjoyed better rations and occupied the highest echelons of prisoner status. However, the majority of male prisoners were too debilitated and weakened for sexual activities, highlighting the grotesque irony of the situation. To compound the horrors, SS camp administrators displayed a chilling efficiency by sometimes invoicing prisoners' families for the services rendered in the brothel. Despite the admonishment from fellow prisoners who questioned the ethics of using their families' money, some individuals like Van Dijk saw no issue with an environment where sexual exploitation was rampant and even young men resorted to trading sexual favors for meager provisions. Following liberation, survivors of forced labor camps sought justice and recompense. Sadly, the ladies who had suffered the horrible crimes of the brothels were met with a harsh reality. Their involvement was declared voluntary, denying them the opportunity to seek restitution and exacerbating their victimization. Many kept silent, fearful of stigmatization and the derision they had already received from fellow inmates. The few preserved images of the unique blocks, furnished with rustic furniture and tablecloths, provide a dramatic contrast. The unspeakable tragedies that happen within those walls are hidden behind the facade of domesticity. Our serious duty is to remember the victims of the SS brothels by amplifying their voices and ensuring their tales are heard. Their stories serve as a stark reminder of human brutality, requiring us to confront and prevent such tragedies from happening again.